launching of several ballistic capabilities into Israel. As we speak with you, there have been record of multiple casualty inside Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, according to information, they said this particular wave of air campaign, is extremely devastating for the Israeli regime, because they said the Israeli alarm is no longer responding to the incoming ballistic capability, that now citizens are having less time to respond to the incoming launches from Tehran. And now we have an information, okay? Benjamin Netanyahu just said something, and Abbas Arakshi is now jumping on the initiative. The foreign minister of Iran, Abbas Arakshi, just said something. He said, Netanyahu doesn't want you to see how Iran powerful armed forces are punishing Israel for its aggression. According to Saeed Abbas Arakshi, the foreign minister of Iran, he said, here is what our men and women on the ground reports: utter destruction caused by our missiles, panic leaders, and air defenses in disarray, and we are just getting started. These are the comments of the foreign minister of Iran. This does not look like someone who is trying to negotiate their way out of this situation, because right now we are hearing that Steve Witkoff has now said that they are trying to have contact with the Iranian foreign minister Abbas Arakshi to reach a negotiated settlement. And a lot of critics are saying that the US is desperately looking for a way out of this conflict, either by creating a sort of humanitarian crisis in Iran that will kind of make Iran not want to continue this war. And another, report that is coming out is that the UN Security Council summit today, that the United States and our allies condemned Iran, and they are now asking for Iran to reach a negotiated settlement very, very quick, because it can lead to, a very, very severe economic catastrophe, on the global economy. Now, I think this is all talk. I think the United Nations strategic capability have been activated. In my own opinion, I think all these organizations are there to, to help the United States when the empire gets in trouble. Now, what do we have here? According to Abbas Arakshi, he said, quote, France 24, the army has banned, that's the IDF army, they have banned live broadcast of the Israeli skyline. Now it's no longer the site of destruction. Okay, according to information, the destruction is so devastating at this point that Israel is now taking the ban and the censorship from the point of contact to the Israeli skyline. Don't capture any video as long as you are in Israel right now. And I will tell you the reason why this is coming up. According to the information, the army of Israel have now banned live broadcast of Israeli skyline when alarms have been sounded to warn of incoming missile or drones. According to information, images of air defenses intercepting incoming missile has been a major part of the coverage at the start of the war, and a feature in the coverage of the June 2025 war between Israel and Iran. However, this is now forbidden. The army has also banned filming impacts at or near security sites, although it does allow coverage of civilian damage as long as exact location are withheld. So this is Israel right now. And there's no denying the fact that the moment Iran, compromise the huge radar system of the terminal high altitude air defense capability of the United States, all hell broke loose. Okay, because this third radar system is the main highs of other, long range radar system that, the United States has all over their bases in the Middle East. Together, everything works hand in hand, even with the Israeli, radar system, because this is like a multi-string of radars. And from the site of launch, there is information, frequency that have been passed to either seaborne or airborne radars. They transmit information together. But the moment the third radar system got compromised, everything became ineffective. And that is why we have the interceptors still being fired to the Israeli sky, but we are seeing less interception. Behind me right now, you can see the dark spots. Those are the new wave of missiles that have been launched towards Israel. You can see that is Tel Aviv right now. And according to Donald Trump, the United States has air supremacy over the sky of Iran. And you can see the number of missiles that have been launched towards Iran, towards Israel. According to the information we are receiving, these are not drone strike. These are complete missile strike. Okay. So now, I don't know if the Iranians will be willing to listen to the United States. This is one of the missiles flying into Israel right now. You can see, according to information, multiple hypersonic missiles continue to land inside Tel Aviv. There are information that we are receiving right now that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, there are reports that his legs are already swollen. I don't know what has led to that. You can see that the picture of the leg is being captured. He said he has swollen legs right now. I don't know if he has some situation he has been battling with before now, but ladies and gentlemen, that's the report we have. Now, here is another strike in Tel Aviv. Okay, right now, this is just another strike in Tel Aviv. Boom. You can see this airstrike. So, and these are the videos they don't want you to see. Okay, they don't want you to see videos like this. It's not good. It's not looking good for Tel Aviv, because the problem is, by the time the conflict ends, how will the world, how will they see Israel? What will be said of the Iron Dome, the mystery, intercepting, technology that nothing can penetrate? And the world has now seen that the Iron Dome is just a fantasy, it's just this fiction. It doesn't exist. So, ladies and gentlemen, immediately after the first strike, Hezbollah launched multiple strikes into Israel. Iran did not pause. Just as Hezbollah is launching this strike into Israel, and if you look at the number of missiles that Hezbollah fired into Israel, it's unbelievable. Now, Iran did not allow the tempo to drop. Just after the first strike that you are seeing, Iran picked up the pace once more. So what you are seeing right now, these are launches into Tel Aviv once more. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. So if the United States is telling everyone that they control the skies of Tehran, how come this is in less than 40 minutes? So I think we are getting to a point where Iran, okay, Iron Dome is the dome. We're getting to a point where Iran is trying to completely saturate the air defense capability of Israel. And we don't know. You are hearing Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth and all those guys saying that the United States has unlimited stockpile of air defense capability. So the question that we should be asking right now, for those that believe in this lie, is why were they in South Korea to retrieve the air defense capability from South Korea? if they have more than enough, okay, why were they in South Korea to retrieve those, air defense system from South Korea? According to information, see, look, there is no denying at this point. I think the time of regret is here. According to the information we have, the United States has requested Romania. Oh my goodness. Now the United States is calling on Romania. Okay. United States has requested Romania's help in deploying more forces to the Eastern Air Base to support the ongoing operation in the Middle East. So when you listen to this comment, like to support the ongoing, operation in the Middle East, you think maybe the United States is facing a lot. You would think maybe it's the entire Persian Gulf state launching an attack on the United States, assets in the. This is just Iran. So how many countries are you going to invite into this conflict? Donald Trump recently said that the Brits are disappointing. That Keir Starmer is talking about joining the war when the United States have won the war. Even though we all know that the United States has not won the war, Donald Trump said they've won the war. But in 1 minute, you've won the war. In another minute, now you are begging Romania to join the war. You see, when you get to the level where you are now inviting Romania, it means you are finished. That is what it means. Now, you see this argument that the United States has the strongest military in the world is over with. We don't want Romania. Yes, this is the information. The United States is now asking Romania to come and, join the operation. According to information, assistance will include sending additional fighter jets and troops. What they want to do is to create a situation where they can saturate the Tehran sky, because the United States continue to talk about air dominance. How will you talk, air dominance and that number of ballistic launch? I think in 40 minutes, Iran has launched more than, what would I say about those numbers right there? I think that number should be more than 500. So there is no way you have air control or air dominance and Iran will still be able to launch or throw that number of blows at you. According to the information we now have now, the Romanian president, Nicuso Dan, will hold a Supreme Defense Council meeting to discuss this temporary deployment. So now the question is, how many patriotic leaders do we have on the planet right now? Because you sending your soldiers to that country is like telling, your soldiers to go and die. Now, this is the picture we are now having in the United States, in Israel right now. This is the picture of Donald Trump in Israel. Okay. Now, on their billboard, what is written there is "Thank you, God," and Donald Trump. That is what is now written in Israel right now. Thank you, God, and Donald Trump. And let's be honest. This gives a lot of credit to Iran. So this is Israel saying that without the US, the situation would have been extremely devastating. Yes, if they are saying thank you, God, thank you, Donald Trump, we know that American soldiers are actually, getting so many hooks in the in the Persian Gulf right now. The embassies are getting attacked and all of that. But the thing is, without US helping Israel in this war, we all know what would have happened. It would have been total capitulation at this point, because Israel wouldn't have been able to sustain an all-out sustained aggression from Hezbollah, from, whatever proxy they have. Okay. And the United States is the guy that is losing the soldiers, and they are even about to lose more, because we are now hearing, there's an inflation in these talks of boots on the ground in the Middle East. Now we have another information. This is one of the missile, the Kaiba Shekan, that the Iranians have just launched deep into Tel Aviv. And what did they write on this missile capability? Can you see the inscription on the missile capability that have just been launched into Israel? Iran wrote something on this missile. Let me read it to you. What they wrote on this missile is simple. They are saying, in memory of the victim of Epstein Island. That's what they are writing on it right now. In memory of the victims of Epstein Island. An Iranian missile launched during a recent operation avenging Epstein's victim, whom the US Department of Justice and international law have yet to avenge. So they are seeking for justice for the victim of Epstein while launching a a ballistic missile into this coalition of the retard. Because anybody joining this war right now in support of those people, you are joining the wrong war now. Okay? Now, the Israeli, there is a US Senator, Chris Murphy, who has now been questioned on why the US is in this war. He said the simplest explanation is Israel made us do it. Netanyahu decided he wanted to attack and he convinced Trump to join him. I hope that isn't the full explanation.
Nuclear program isn't the reason, as poor Ted Cruz, I never thought I'd put those three words together, is over there talking about nukes. And we know that the intelligence did not suggest that an attack was imminent from Iran. What is left? Why are we at war with Iran?
Great question. Yeah, great question. I mean, the simplest explanation, might be the one that they gave 24 hours in, that they've kind of tried to backtrack since then, which is that Israel made us do it. That Bibi decided on this timeline. Netanyahu decided he wanted to attack, and he convinced Trump to join him by scaring Trump into believing that U.S. assets in the region would be at risk, and so Trump was better off just joining Netanyahu. I hope that isn't the full explanation, but you're right. As we are now hearing that the nuclear program is not part of their targeting campaign, as we're now more confident that even harder line leadership is taking hold, as the Strait of Hormuz is still being shut down, even as we get their navy, what's left as the explanation? It might just be that Israel forced our hand. And how weak does that make the United States look? How weak are we if our allies can force us into wars of choice that are bad for U.S. national security interests?
So, what I would say is that he finished the statement by saying that if the US ally, Israel is not US ally at this point. Okay? Israel is, should I say, the hegemon that has been able to completely turn the United States into a proxy state. Now, let's listen to what the Canadian Prime Minister is saying on Iran's conflict.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Canada's policy is clear. Canada supports the necessity of preventing Iran's nuclear program and exporting of any terrorism. Canada is not participating in the offensive operations of Israel and the United States and will not ever. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Canada's policy is clear.
So what we have is that a lot of these people, they are scared of openly admitting that they are supporting the coalition of the retard. And not just that they are scared of openly admitting, they don't want no consequence, and they are saying that they are playing defensive. The billion-dollar question is, are you involved or not? I can guarantee you that at this point, even Canada cannot confront Iran. Look, a lot of people, a lot of people don't understand what is going on right now. Iran has been able to prove that they have the strategic capability to not only hurt Israel, but hurt, this so-called greatest military the world has ever seen. Nobody is coming close, according to Donald Trump. Donald Trump said that they are going to be sending this naval, obliteration team to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Up until now, nothing has happened. What we have is the United States is backed up against the rope, and now they are throwing rabbit punches. Look, what the US is doing right now is, I see a regime that has been backed up against the rope, both at home and away from home. No support. Now, what they're doing right now, when you corner a dog and the dog is looking at you and the dog knows that you are with a rifle, and the way the dog is looking at that rifle, pointing at the dog, is like, man, this guy is about to finish me. So the dog just continues to bark, not because the backing is strategic, but man, I'm going to do everything I can. So when you hear them talking, they just want you to feel like something is still going on. Okay? There is nothing going on right now. Before this conflict, who would have predicted that Iran would decide to lock up the Strait of Hormuz and the US will not be able to do anything about it? Iran did not only stop the US. Did you see Canada saying that they were playing a defensive role right there? That means the United States equally told Canada, like, look, that means that Iran equally put everyone that have joined the United States in this war of aggression, this Epstein war, right? Because now we are hearing that they said Donald Trump is angry that a lot of people are trying to blackmail him. They are calling this conflict Epstein conflict. Okay, that this is not a blackmail. You are about to get it right now. That's what is going on. Now we have another information. They said the new Iran supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei was wounded in the leg on the first day of the war. On the first day, which may be why he has not appeared in public. New York Times reports, adding circumstances and severity of the injury are unclear at this time. The question is, how did they even know? Do they have reporters on the ground? No. I said something yesterday. I said they made this speculation that he was dead. If he's not dead, he should come out in public. I said it categorically that they are trying to set a trap. They can't afford to have this guy breathing in oxygen and breathing out carbon dioxide at this point. Not because Mojtaba Khamenei is a wicked person, but because the same wicked people, they are going through this multiple episode of regret. Internally, they know that what they have done will never be forgotten. This war that have just been fought, right, is this same people, the nuclear bomb, is this same people now killing children. We have to tell the truth. This is just the truth. And now they are trying to do anything. And you see, we've seen videos of Iranians bringing out, paper poster of Mojtaba Khamenei and saying that whoever wants to see him, this is our new supreme leader. Do you know what they are doing? They are now laughing at the empire, meaning the empire has now become a laughing stock. You said you have perception, you can target anything, you have this and that, but you don't even know where the supreme leader is. Now they are speculating, and the essence of that speculation is to kind of create a situation where the new supreme leader comes out. They try to, track him to wherever he's going back to, and they will just go and bomb everywhere to Stone Age. But that is not going to happen. Nobody knows his whereabouts. And I think that's the same thing that Ayatollah Khamenei should have done. Now we are hearing information. Iran's Hunter Biden, that the Fox News vision of the new supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei. Now listen to the information.
Khamenei Jr., the boss's son. He's 56, no resume except his last name. He's like Iran's Hunter Biden. Khamenei Jr., the boss's son.
They
He's
can't
56,
sleep.
no resume except his last name. He's like Iran's Hunter Biden. Khamenei.
They can't look. I'm telling you the honest truth. They can't sleep. The fact that look, you see the lie they told before this conflict, that Iran is trying to build a nuclear capability and all of that. They are scared right now. Okay, they are scared right now, not because of anything, okay, but just because they know that they are going to get. You can't eat your cake and have it. But right now they've eaten their cake, and now they are about to get a last year's bread, and they are going to have to chew it very, very well. Now, the US-Israel footage of striking docked dingoes and paddle boats. Iran has hundreds of them stored. They are really showing small destruction of the boats. So that's the US striking some boats. According to information, the Iranians have hundreds of them. So now this is a very funny development right here, because if anyone has ever seen the Missile City, okay, you will know that most of the Iranian capabilities are hidden deep under the ground. So whatever they are striking right now, Iran just want them to have it. They just want them to have it right now. And from information, those capabilities they just struck, they were empty. Okay? Mojtaba is a hardliner. They are scared to hell, where they belong. So, according to information, the IRGC claim responsibility for recent missile strikes on US position in Erbil, Iraq, and Tel Aviv, Israel. Missile use, the Khyber Shekan, the Quad, the Koram Shah 4 announce more attack within the next 3 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, look at it. There is no way they are going to, there is no way they are going to avoid this. Now, the US senator is now talking. His name is Rand Paul. He said, "This is our second world war in a month. These wars are extremely expensive. I'm really concerned about the debt. Our military budget is not inadequate. It is enormous."
And so I don't want to weaken our country further. I think we've gotten overextended. This is our second war in a month. And these wars are very, very expensive, not only in the lives that are lost, but also in treasure. And so, no, I'm very, very concerned about the debt. It's been my number one focus for some time now.
I know it has.
And $500 billion to the military budget is fiscally irresponsible.
Fiscally irresponsible in the face of China on the march, China undermining the United States at every turn, Russia continuing its assault on Ukraine, Iran.
Man. Well, I don't know. What I do feel is that the US is getting it just as much as they like to give. They are getting right now. And when you start having US senators talking about the money they are spending is too much, is irresponsible, is all of that. This is because they are saying all of this because there is no strategic goal. The objective is not clear. Nothing has been done. Nothing at all has been done. Okay? Now I want you to listen to a Democratic senator talking about this conflict.
I just came from a 2 hour closed door classified briefing on the war. It just confirmed to me it's totally incoherent. We are not going to be able to achieve any of our stated objectives. But I mention it because it's
Thank you
another
so much.
closed door briefing. We have still not yet heard a full explanation as to why this is necessary. We still have had no hearings in front of Congress. The public.
So what he's saying now is that according to him, he said we won't achieve any of our stated objective. This is a disaster of epic proportion. It's already getting Americans killed, and according to what we are hearing, you know, they are bringing those boots on the ground. That I don't know if those boots are, if there are going to be boots where, you know, I don't know if those boots on the ground are going to still be there when they are returned. You want to, now they are talking about Americans getting killed, but the people that are sending them, you know, to the platter of whatever, they are not tired. Now they want to bring multiple boots. But the question I want to ask is, are they still going to be with those boots when they return them back home? Because it won't be we are returning home. It won't be we are returning, we are going home. It will be the fact that they will return them back home. It won't be an escape. And Iran will be justified for whatever they do at this point. They will be justified. You've killed children, you know, you've done a lot of things. America has no benefit. You lose soldiers, you've lost influence, you've been slapped around the whole place. You are now the global caricature right now. Nobody respects you. The respect your military has before this conflict, they no longer have. You and I know that, you know, we were still looking at the United States military in a certain way with some certain level of respect. But now everything is out of the window because Iran, for God's sake, when you are talking about the US and you are putting Iran in the same conversation, you know, you will probably get people angry. But now we've been able to, you know, see that now, according to information, they said the US Air Force ran out of targets. They still wanted victorious footage. So they targeted the Dinis. So what they are doing now is that they are just targeting anything. Okay, they are just targeting anything they see. You know, that I actually noticed this thing for quite a while, that what they are doing right now is that they are now dropping bombs on anything. Once your aircraft has been loaded, just make sure you drop that bomb on something before. Don't return with that bomb. Just make sure you drop this bomb on somebody's scalp before you come back. I kind of looked at the way they were coming from the aircraft carrier, and according to information, the aircraft carrier is now 1,000 kilometers away from Iran. The so-called USS, you know, Gerald Ford, USS Abraham Lincoln, they said those aircraft carriers are now over 1,000 away from the Iranian. I thought they were going to be very close to Iran. I thought they had, you know, when they were bringing all this capability, that is the US going. See, nobody should pretend here that the US, they were not, they were prepared. The US came into this war prepared, in their opinion, right? Their I know it's all opinion. They believe that those capabilities, were enough. And don't tell me you are sending these carrier strike groups to the Persian Gulf, and you want to convince the public that you did not know what you were getting to. They knew what they were going into, but just that the situation is now very, very devastating that they don't even know what to say. They cannot deny this situation right now. This is a strategic defeat. Iran still has multiple strategic, targeting to do. Hitting Bahrain, hitting UAE, making the world know that, look, the fact that we are not eating some individuals right now is because we don't want to eat them. Okay? We don't want to eat them. But if they go around, carrying their ball head everywhere and trying to pretend that we are done, we are still going to eat them. Everybody said majority of the Iranian, launchers have been destroyed, right? That was when Iran kind of lowered their firing rate and they were doing more strategic damage. Why would you launch 80 missile when one Khorramshahr 4 is equivalent to 80 ballistic missile? That's the big question. Why would you launch 80 if Khorramshahr 4 can just go out there and complete the job for you? So according to now listen, you see this video right here? This was in Qatar. Okay, like I just said, now Iran is letting the world know that we got these people under control. Now, according to information, major sport broadcast in Qatar is interrupted due to warning of incoming Iranian missile. This is a Champions League broadcast. Everybody.
صحيح رغم أن تقدم جلطة الصراع عن طريق كرة هامشة.
وضح فقط عبد العزيز الآن بأنه ونحن على الهواء مباشرة
You will not sleep. Iran is making sure that everybody, and now we have a situation in North Korea. The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and his daughter has now tested the strategic purpose cruise missile. That's the name of the cruise missile. The strategic purpose cruise missile from the country's newest naval destroyer. Boats watch the launch on several screens. Okay, so this is the daughter of Kim Jong-un and this is Kim Jong-un here. So what they are, I think Kim Jong-un started launching these missiles after the United States removed their defense capabilities from South Korea, and they are going to be deploying it to the Middle East. Kim Jong-un started displaying a lot. See, man, Kim Jong-un is the worst neighbor you can have. The worst neighbor, I'm telling you. Most especially if he is not your ally. Okay? The United States removed their capability, and the next thing, this guy started testing a lot of cruise missile, ballistic missile. I said, North Korea have not stopped since yesterday. So this is North Korea saying that the United States should not even think about inviting South Korea to this conflict. You cannot invite them. They have their house full already. And I kind of said it. Immediately the US went to remove that, they removed the radar. They did not only remove the defense system, they removed everything. And immediately North Korea started displaying their capabilities. So South Korea will not rest right now until probably those capabilities get back. But I don't know when the US will return them, because right now, if the war in Iran continues, then there's going to be a problem. Okay. According to information right now, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense said they used 600 Patriot missiles against Russia over 1,460 plus days. Hey, Russia destroyed 600 Patriots. Jesus Christ. Is he even up to that? And according to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, right? 800 Patriot missile against Iran in over 3 days. So what I think Ukraine should go and sit down. To the Americans, Israel is more important than you are. Just you are still that bloody low genetically made Middle Eastern European, Eastern European country. They call the Eastern Europeans. There's this name they call them Orcs. So I think Ukraine should not put themselves in the same category uh as Israel. Now we have I told you, I said everybody will get this work. Everybody is going to get it. Now we are hearing information that Israel may attack Turkey if Turkey supports Iran. Can you imagine? I was telling you all, which I said, Turkey is not what you think. Okay? Now they are saying that they might attack Turkey if Turkey supports Iran. We need to ensure that everyone doesn't create a new alliance of radical Islam. I hope that Turkey doesn't choose to foment terror and Islamism. See, Turkey is already in trouble. Either Turkey likes it or not, these people are coming for Turkey next. So I think it will just be in the best interest of Turkey to support Iran for the best of whatever reason they want to. Okay, because they are coming for you next. According to information, if they try and surround us with terror, we will not sit idle. That is the ex-Prime Minister Naftali Bennett of Israel.
Let me just ask you whether there's a risk of further confrontation with Turkey based on comments that you said in the past.
Well, we need to ensure that Erdogan doesn't create a new alliance of radical Islam Sunni version, meaning an axis between himself, Julani, Qatar, and Hamas. We've been facing for many decades the Shiite radical Islam, and I hope that Turkey doesn't choose to foment terror and Islamism in its power. It's up to Turkey ultimately. If they seek peace, definitely want peace. But if they try and surround us with terror, we will not sit idle.
So this is Israel saying to Turkey that, look, you can't do, look, I don't know if a lot of people understand. That is Israel telling Turkey that the only option for you in this conflict is to join us. If you don't join us, you are going to get this work. So this has a lot to do with why most of these GCC countries are puppets. Most of the Trump just asked Israel not to bomb Iran's oil field. We can't believe anything that Trump says. According to information from Reuters, okay, cargo ship hit by projectile in Strait of Hormuz. Crews evacuated. According to Reuters, that's 40 minutes ago. Cargo ships caught fire after being struck by a projectile in the Strait of Hormuz, north of Oman. Crews abandoned ships and requested assistance. UK Maritime Trade Administration, the vessel is currently described as an unidentified and unnamed. Sorry. So Iran has said nobody will go through the Strait of Hormuz, but some people are trying to do, Donald Trump has been saying it that people should go through the Strait of Hormuz, that they are scared of nothing. And now that is one of them who has tried to obey the instruction of, who has tried to obey the instruction of Donald Trump, and we all are witnessing what happens to anybody that obey the instruction coming from the command control center of the coalition of the retired, aka the Epstein coalition. They cannot stop us from calling that name. This war will not stop the Epstein conversation. Once this war is over, everybody is going to go back to the old we are going to go back to that conversation. Yes, now. And now I think they need to ask a lot of questions from the president of the United States. Because if you are not somehow involved with that Epstein, that Epstein Island fantasy, if you are not involved, why is Benjamin Netanyahu, why has he been able to control you this much? According to some school of thought, they said Donald Trump appeared in the Epstein in the Epstein file in over 5,000 They said Donald Trump's name must have appeared over 5,000 times. Right? That's how much people believed that this coalition, there is a reason why they are all together. And you go and look at the people that are supporting this war of aggression against Iran from the United States. Most of them, if you study properly, most of them might end up being involved in the Epstein Island fantasy. They might be involved. Go and check properly. The names I don't want to mention is 1 million times according to FBI. I'm telling you, somebody said Donald Trump's name. So that's why Israel have been able to control him like this. Man, these people are so funny. So now, the Washington Post has released a statement. They said the conflict has also sparked a sharp rise in anti-Semitic content. According to researchers from Anti-Defamation League, a Jewish civil rights organization, some of it seeking to link Epstein, who was Jewish, to the conflict. Can you imagine? Epstein was even Jewish. I did not know that Jeffrey Epstein was Jewish. Can you imagine? So Jeffrey Epstein was even Jewish. Goodness, Maccabee. According to information, they say pretty quickly after the conflict began, this conspiratorial rebranding of Operation Epic Fury, the US military official name, into Operation Epstein Fury, started circulating on social media platforms. Said Oren Siegel, the ADL report found that the phrase Epstein Fury was mentioned more than 90,000 times by some 60,000 different accounts on X within the conflict's first 3 days. 90,000. How are they able to track how are those people able to track the accounts that have been using the word Epstein? Okay, I'm telling you that the level of censorship we are seeing recently is catastrophic. The last time I had a live stream with you all, if you notice, the number of the stream started dropping. Okay, now let me tell you what happened. After that live stream, my account, you know what I saw? I saw dash, 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 dash. Everything collapsed for several hours. Just because we are condemning this Epstein, this Epstein coalition of the retard. And we need to do this. You can't kill babies and we will just sit down and watch and be like, oh man, they are trying to destroy. What regime are you destroying? What regime are you destroying? Do you even know what it means to say that you are the greatest military on the planet? There is a reason. Look, if Russia wants to bomb Ukraine to Stone Age, they can do it. In fact, Russia can destroy Ukraine, like the entire Ukrainian map can be zeroed out within a week if Russia wants to. But just because, so happy I found you, Free Africa Think Breaks. Thank you so much for the donation. I really have to say thank you. Thank you so much. So now, Russia wanted to avoid, going very fast on the escalation ladder and out of emotion, destroying lives and property and also hurting the Ukrainian civilian. That was why Vladimir Putin had to deploy troops on the ground, put boots on the ground. Okay? But these guys are scared of putting their boots on the ground. That's what we're having in the Middle East now. Then guess what they are doing? Once I load your aircraft, I'm telling you, that's the new strategy of the Americans. A lot of people don't know. They've bombed hospitals, they've bombed schools, they've bombed tourist centers, they've bombed malls, anything and everything in Iran. Is like these guys, this is how they behave when they are panicking. Exactly. So what they are doing right now is when they go out there, the instruction is simple. Don't come back with these bombs. Just make sure this bomb you drop it because how can you explain to me? Like the question now that I have to ask is, okay, you've destroyed the IRGC centers, right? The buildings that the buildings that have been labeled as IRGC headquarters, you've bombed it. You've bombed the political offices. You've done the best you can. So the question now is, what are you still bombing? Right? If you've bombed all the centers, you've been able to. You said you have air supremacy. Donald Trump said they now control the skies of Tehran. Pete Hegseth said they will need 1 or 2 weeks. Marco Rubio said something completely different. So if you have, let's say, 80% air supremacy, bring your troops now, put your boots on the ground, and let's see what happens. Let's see what will happen. Okay? According to the information, they said it isn't only pro-Tehran accounts that are drawing those connections. Hours after the strike, Candace Owen, the American right-wing politician commentator who has more than 5.9 million subscribers on YouTube, reshared a post on X, included an AI-generated image, Trump flanking by Israeli flag, and suggested that the United States was blowing up Iranians because it's controlled by Jews. Owen added our own caption, Operation Epstein Fury fully explained. At least one of the accounts in the pro-Terranian network of X reshared a post by Owen that accused Israel of orchestrating the September 11, 2001 attack. You know, now they're trying to say that Candace Owen is trying, this conversation has been going on for a while, that Israel was behind the 9/11 attack. Now they are saying that a pro-Tehran network on X shared a post by Candace Owen that accused Israel of orchestrating the September 11, 2001 attacks. This is not a new conversation. A lot of people have been talking about this. Follow the money. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of the love, a lot of the guys that call the shots, in this Donald Trump regime, they are from the coalition of the retard. You see, now, according to information, Iran announced its most powerful and heaviest attack on Israel. The Koram Shah 4 missile struck Tel Aviv and Haifa. In Tel Aviv, power was lost after the strike. So now, this is a video showing incoming Koram Shah 4 missile. I mean, you have more than 80 coming in here. You have more than 80. I don't know how many Koram Shah 4 missile was launched, but man, this is heavy. Now, the exile crown prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, urged Iranians on Wednesday to stay home and wait for his final call. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. So this is what okay, let me go and get my generator on. Let me go and get my generator on. Oh, what? Ah, oh my god. I'll be back now. Fuck. Ugh. I connect? Uh, whew. So, according to the words of Reza Pahlavi, sorry for the interruption. Reza Pahlavi, the exile crown prince of Iran, urged Iranian citizens on Wednesday to stay home and wait for his final call. I don't know what call he's talking about. According to information, he said, "Dear compatriots, we are now at a decisive stage of our final struggle." You see, this Reza Pahlavi is one of the guys I hate the most in my life. He's talking about the fact that they are now at the final stage of their struggle. What struggle? Is it a bombing of the school kids? What is the struggle? What is the struggle? What struggle is he talking about? Man, if you have a man like Reza Pahlavi in your country, you need help. You need serious help. And the Iranians in diaspora, their behavior is shocking. One of them was asked about the bombing of the school kid, and she, not a he, she said, "Yes, it's good for the struggle." What? He said the bombing of the school kid, is good for the struggle, for the liberation. Liberation. So this is what you get when you are dealing with, the coalition of the retard. You see, a lot of people they say Epstein coalition and all of that. I say it's coalition of the retard, because for you to even be in that coalition, you cannot be normal. You cannot be normal to join that coalition. So, according to the information we had, 3 cargo ships were attacked by Iran. Oh, by design. Thank you so much for being around. Yeah, my cousin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. According to information, 3 cargo ships were attacked by Iran in the Persian Gulf overnight, 2 suffered damage, third is ablaze, with the crew abandoning the UK maritime trade operation. Names the vessel. So what we have right now is a situation where Donald Trump is telling a lot of people to go through the Strait of Hormuz even if their life is at stake. Going through the Strait of Hormuz right now is like trying to kill yourself. That is what going through the Strait of Hormuz mean right now. But they will still try to do whatever they want to do. Now we have another situation here. Australia sent E-7A Wekte airborne early warning aircraft. Do you know what that means? I will explain. Australia sent an E-7A wedge-tail airborne early warning aircraft to the Persian Gulf. The aircraft will assist the Gulf states in detecting low-flying Iranian drone and cruise missile using its advanced MESA radar. Australia also deployed the AIM-120 ARAM missile to enhance interception capability. Let me be honest with you, right? The reason why Australia is now sending an early warning aircraft to the GCC state is because the United States have been blinded in that, location. There is no reason why Australia will now be sending an early warning, aircraft. The only reason why they are sending this is because 4 of the United States third radar system have been knocked off, brutalized in the whole region by Iran. Now, I don't know how this aircraft is going to be of strategic importance. Okay, I don't even know why the AWAC antenna is looking like that. Now they are sending it to be the early warning, radar system. Now, you see, this is how useless Iran has made the entire coalition of the retard look right now. Yes, Iran is making them look useless. Now it's no longer radars. It's now aircraft. Don't worry. One hypersonic ballistic missile, right, will make sure that that aircraft will not go back in one piece. One hypersonic is enough. I tried to send $50 with a message. Yeah, they are trying to make sure that this channel doesn't, they are trying to do everything to make sure that to, to make sure that this channel, they've been attacking us straight from Burkina Faso to Mali and all of that. They don't want us to tell our truth. You know why? We in the Alliance of Sahel States, we were up to speed with this conflict was simply because we've been tracking the coalition of the retard for a very long time now. And people don't know because we've not had the opportunity to come on the big stage like this to come and expose some of the plot of these people. But we in Africa, we have seen a lot of their antics. We've seen, whatever trick of the trade they are going to employ. We've seen it, and it's not new to us in Africa. Some of your best Western mainstream media, they are the worst when it comes to Africa. BBC, Al Jazeera, Fox, man. What's the name of First Post? This guy, you see, anybody that is still looking at the Western mainstream media as a news outlet does not understand where the world is going. And the person probably don't understand where we are right now. I sent $50 from the US with message. Oh, thank you so much. I deeply appreciate it. France 24. All these platforms, right? The thing is, we do know that their strategic objective is to project the interest of the deep state. When they send envoys to you, and these platforms are saying something different, that is to tell you that they hate you to death. Yes, the US sent Steve Witkoff to Moscow, and not quite long, they launched a drone strike through the CIA to try to target and decapitate the Russian leadership. This coalition, history will history will not forget this coalition. That once upon a time, there was a coalition called the Coalition of the Retard that launched a military operation at a certain time called, the Epstein Fury. They cannot dock this disaster right now. And I know they are trying to negotiate their way out of this. How will somebody come to this platform and tell me that people that, that travel to the Epstein Island to go and perform some of the world's most dangerous, activities ever? You want to tell somebody will now come and tell me that these are the chosen people of God? Man, these people, they need a different type of medical intervention. So now we have another we have another information from Iran. Iran Fire Department reports that US and Israeli strike have done the following. Nearly 19,337 civilian buildings have been bombed. And that is true. If you've seen the action of these guys, I said it from day one. I said these guys no longer have a strategy. Their main strategy is to launch a decapitation strike, bringing about a regime change, probably bringing in, Reza Pahlavi with that face, for God's sake. Now I'm going to take this time out to criticize Iran a little bit. How do you produce people like Reza Pahlavi with that face? Let's not forget he's still Iranian too. that face. No. You can't even win a war with that face. Okay? And Reza Pahlavi is a strategic addition. Reza Pahlavi is a strategic addition to the coalition of the retard. Reza Pahlavi. It was Reza Pahlavi that there was this post I saw online when the UK Prime Minister, the German and the German Chancellor and Emmanuel Macron, they were together. And this UK journalist was like, now look at the coalition. He said, look at the Epstein coalition of the European continent. He said, now they want to speak with themselves that who is going to go and beg Russia first. He said, now they are going to ask themselves, like, come on, retards. Like, come on, assholes. Who is going to talk to Putin first? I was like, these guys are so funny. So now, they said US and Israel have bombed 16,191 residential homes, 77 medical centers, including pharmacies and hospitals. 16 Red Crescent centers have been bombed. 65 educational centers and schools have been bombed. Now, this is an opportunity for me to warn those Nigerians that are calling for the US to come and bomb anywhere in Nigeria. I am warning you. For those that are saying that the US should come and drop bombs in Nigeria, can you hear this comment? 19,734 civilian buildings have been bombed. Okay? 16,191 residential homes have been bombed. 77 medical centers, pharmacies, and hospitals have been bombed by the coalition of the retard. 16 Red Crescent centers have been bombed by the coalition of Epstein. And 65 educational centers and schools have been destroyed. You know what they want to do? They want to replace the indigenous Iranian capability, with the Epstein hypothesis. They want to create another Epstein unit in Iran, but God willing, that will not be possible. That will not be possible. So we have other information coming out from Russia, but okay, they said 2025 footage of the IRGC underground naval tunnel packed with fast attack boats, anti-ship missiles, and naval mines. This is why US and Israeli forces is out of target. Much of these capabilities are underground.
تصاویر شهرهای زیرزمینی شناوری نیروی دریایی سپاه از خبرگزاری صدا و سیما منتشر می شود. انبوهی از شناورهای تخصصی هواپیمابر آمریکاست.
So now let's be honest, right? Let's be honest with ourselves at this point. Let's let's come to reality. 90% of the Iranian defense capabilities are buried underground in some underground city. You can see what you have there. So the question is, I said this a lot of times. I said, these guys are no longer bombing anything strategic. When they load those F-15s and F-35, the mission is simple. These bombs must not return with you. You know, normally, if you are looking for targets and you don't see, there is nothing bad in you coming back. You know, use the reconnaissance drone or use the satellite imaging, try to recover some targets, move out once more. Okay, but what we have is that there is an instruction that have been given to these people: go out there and devastate anything you see. That was why these guys double tapped 12-year-old and 9-year-old schoolgirls. They didn't just bomb them, they double tapped them. And a lot of people did not understand how dangerous that double tap was on those kids. You see, that was a Tomahawk cruise missile, meaning the jet engine will power that flight to the point of impact. Okay? Now, when you shoot a Tomahawk cruise missile from distance, the jet engine should get it to the point of impact, but with less fuel. So you only have a primary strike and a primary combustion, right? But when you fire a Tomahawk cruise missile from a close range, it means that you will still have a lot of fuel in the engine. And what you have will be a secondary combustion. First from the explosive, secondly from the fuel. And now they didn't stop at that. They double tap those kids. Do you know how heavy a Tomahawk is? People should go and ask the Nigerians. The Tomahawk not detonating. If the Tomahawk should land on 100 people, 100%, I don't think any of them will survive. We've seen this thing in Nigeria. So I'm taking this time to warn those Nigerians that are saying that Donald Trump should come and save Nigeria. Please. Only Nigeria can save Nigerians. You can see what these people have done inside Iran. And now some of those people that called on Donald Trump to come and save them, their fathers, their mothers, their cousins, their nephews have equally been bombed. So, Italy Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni expressed condolence on girls' school tragedy in Iran. That is the only human being that is still breathing among the leadership of Europe, in my opinion. Giorgia Meloni, okay, the Western European, among their leadership, this is still the only living and existing human. And Spain, thank you. The rest, coalition of the retard all the way. According to information, she said, I express my firm condemnation of the massacre of little girls that occurred at the Minab school in southern Iran. Solidarity with the families of the young victim and the request that those responsible for this tragedy be quickly ascertained. Now, let me tell you this, right? When you look at Donald Trump's reaction, Let me be very, very honest with you. Somebody like Georgia Meloni was not involved in the Epstein objective, or the Epstein mission, or whatever Epstein hypothesis, or Epstein or Epstein theory, right? She's not part of the Epstein coalition. And that is why she's still human enough to respond that way as a mother. But you see, everyone on the Epstein list, right? You can see the way they are reacting. So, to just be honest with you, these guys have seen this type of things. The reason why they are reacting like this, right? Without conscience, without pain or anything, is because they've seen this over, and the Epstein class. They've seen children. These are people that do things that are not even normal to children. So how do you want them to react to children being bombed? This is a very huge question. How do you want someone, right, that does, unclean things with children to react when children are being killed? That's a big question right there. Okay? That's a very, very huge question right there. Now, according to oh man. According to Lindsey Graham said he thinks president of the United States. He thinks he's president of the United States. They said Lindsey Graham should be registered as a foreign agent for Netanyahu government. Look at the comment of Lindsey Graham.
Allies step up, get our air bases out of Spain. They're not reliable. Move all those airplanes to a country that would let us use them when we're threatened by a regime like Iran. To our friends in Spain, man, you've lost your way. I don't want to do business with you anymore. I want our air bases out of Spain into a country that will let us use them. To our air friends, I've tried to help you construct a new Mideast. You need to up your game here. I can't go to South Carolina and say we're fighting and you won't publicly fight. What you're doing behind the scenes, that has to stop. The double dealing of the Arab world when it comes to this stuff needs to end. I go back to South Carolina, I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake, and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States. I say this as a friend.
Tuesday, 10 March in the year of our Lord 2026.
Did you hear what Lindsey Graham said? He will go to South Carolina and go and tell the people to tell their sons and daughters to deploy themselves, like to get deployed to the Middle East, right? Go and die for, he said, he claimed the United States, right? These people who have no moral justification for this war. Then it got to a point they say you are fighting for the return of Jesus Christ. Look, the level of embarrassment right now is the world has never seen this level of embarrassment before, right? According to the information we are getting, President Erdogan of Turkey said the war must be stopped before it escalates and completely engulf the region in flame. President Erdogan on Iran.
Bu savaş büyümeden bölgeyi tamamen ateşe at.
My thing is, I don't know where Erdogan stands. Honestly, I don't know where Erdogan stands. I don't know. But for whatever reason, I don't think it will pay him. According to information, Turkey deploys Aselsan Sahin 400mm anti-drone system to northern Cyprus. It's able to defend the state against low-flying mini drone and micro Iranian UAV using air-burst smart grenades. Now, what I think is Turkey is equally planning the downfall of Iran. I kind of believe that a lot of this GCC state and the Arab states, they are planning the downfall of Iran, but you know, they are not going to survive it. They are not going to survive it because you've heard a lot of Zionists say after Iran, the next country is Turkey, and we don't know why. We don't know why they are trying. Turkey is trying to behave as if they are innocent. Okay. According to information, people are now saying that only China ships oil now from the Strait of Hormuz. CNBC reports that Iran sent more than 11 million barrels of oil through the Strait of Hormuz since the war began, all bound for China. Well, somebody asked that why are the Western coalition allowing Chinese vessels to pass through the Strait of Hormuz? And the next thing we heard from the Chinese diplomats, the Chinese diplomat said, is the Strait of Hormuz, is it a territorial space of the United States or any of the Western Empire? That's the question they asked. Okay. So now we are getting information. White House aware of countries concerned about missile interceptor shortage. See, this is the first time we are learning that Kai. Look at it. Look at Donald Trump.
And it's very cool.
Look at Donald Trump.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday. Wow. And it's very cool.
This is a picture of the new president of Iran.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday. Wow. And it's
Donald Trump called the picture of Muitaba Khamenei very cool and notes it just went up yesterday. So Donald Trump now has the picture of the new Iranian supreme leader in the White House probably, and is saying that the picture is very, very cool.
very cool. Oh my gosh. Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday. Wow. And it's very cool.
Man. Okay. Now the question is what are we going to do now? Because this situation is, honestly, this situation is no longer funny. But the question is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Mhm. So, information coming out right now is that Iran is exporting more oil through the Strait of Hormuz more than before the war, showing it is in control of the strategic waterway that it has closed off the rest of the region's oil producer. According to Wall Street Journal, that's what they are saying. That Iran is exporting more oil right now through the Strait of Hormuz than before the war, showing it is in control of the strategic waterway than it has closed off the rest of the region's oil producer. So now I think the reason for this is Donald Trump continued to say that he has control of the Strait of Hormuz. I can escort this. We are going to send our naval destroyer. We are going to send our naval vessel and all of that. That is Iran saying that, look, nothing will go through this. Look, let me not lie to you, right? If this war ends today, Iran wins the war. Yes, as we are talking right now, Iran has won this war. There is only one simple question that we should ask. The strategic objective of the United States and Israel was to regime change, was to probably get a puppet in place, was to control the naval, destroy the Iranian Navy, control the Strait of Hormuz, do so many things. But the billion-dollar question is, what have they done? What have they achieved? None of those strategic goals have been achieved. Destroy the missile production capability, destroy the underground city and every other thing. What have they achieved? But see, this is how you measure victory. What has Iran achieved? Iran has been able to destroy all the important radar system. Iran has been able to destroy 4 third system. Iran has been able to hold the entire GCC state to ransom. Iran has been able to undermine, the influence of the United States in the Middle East. Iran has been able to slap the hell out of those GCC countries that are conniving with the United States. This is Iran telling the world that, look, we have the capability to stop these guys. Now, according to information, the Yemeni Houthis have now declared their readiness to confront US and Israel. According to the Yemeni Houthi, they said Israeli enemy wants to dictate and dominate the region. But we all know allegiance to any nation. For the sake of God, we will witness the downfall of their regime. Yemeni's Ansarullah movement official spokesman. That's him right there. Let me tell you this, right? Like I said, Trump still has time. There is only one thing the United States Army are still doing in the Middle East right now, and that's bombing civilians. There is nothing strategic about this mission anymore. Nobody can argue this with me. And families, before anybody talked about this, I can boast that I was among the first group of people that kind of saw this whole thing. I said, these guys are just going and they are double tapping buildings and they are bombing. Like, people don't drop bombs like that. These are civilian resident buildings, like boom, boom, boom. And if you look at the sound of those bombs, so, okay. So, Ukraine sent drone experts to the Gulf state to counter Iranian attacks. I don't know why Vladimir Putin have not flattened this guy, honestly speaking. The Spanish government removed its ambassador to Israel as the country actively opposed the war on Iran. So this is Spain not just ready to take any nonsense. This is Spain now telling the ambassador of Israel, leave this place. This decision mirrors a previous move by Israel, leaving both nations without ambassadorial representation. In Nigeria, I'm still waiting for our government to kick them out, because those people, what they have said is that Iran is now the sponsor of terrorism in Nigeria. Before this war, they said China was paying jihadists to protect the rare earth minerals they've been mining. Now they started the war with Iran. They said Iran is the ones that the Iranians are responsible for, all the terrorism going on in Nigeria. We can no longer have people say these things and go away with it. No. According to the United States, they said we have struck more than 5,500 targets inside Iran, including more than 60 ships. That's the central command. That's what they said. I don't know. I have stopped listening to I've stopped listening to these guys. They tell lie for these guys, they live by lies, they die by lies. Now look at what they said. Brad Cooper, okay, CENTCOM commander, said AI technologies were deployed by the United States military against Iran. This is what they're trying to use as an excuse for the bombing of those school kids. That's the reason why the kids were bombed, was because they deployed AI, and AI could not properly, maybe, critically decide on, what target. And you can see this whole AI conversation going on, right? It's propaganda. It's propaganda. I'm telling you, they killed those kids and they are trying to pretend. They are trying to pretend. Now, China does not, according to the information that is dropping right now, they say China does not agree with attack on the Gulf states and condemn indiscriminate attack on civilians and non-military targets. The urgent task is to immediately cease fire, to cease the military operation. China Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiankun on Iran's conflict, condemning the attack on the Gulf states. Well, I don't know if China is trying to I don't know what the Chinese are trying to say right there. US Israeli airstrike hits popular mobilization unit position of Al-Qam area of Iraq, close to the border with Syria. Well, we don't know. We don't know right now. Look at a cargo ship that has been destroyed in the Strait of Hormuz. This particular ship has been destroyed by the Iranians because they dared to listen to Donald Trump. So that's the consequence. As a consequence, that's the consequence of listening to Donald Trump. So, well, what I can say right now at this point is that the only question we need to okay, they said US moved THAAD missile defense from Korea. So Kim in the North runs missile tests. Immediately the United States removed their defense system, right? Kim Jong-un started, carrying out missile games. Okay, so a powerful mushroom-shaped explosion occurred in the Iranian city of Quds following an airstrike by the United States and Israel. So many people are saying that there are rumors that that could be a tactical nuke, but according to information, no radiation has been detected, so it definitely is not a tactical nuke. So okay, so according to information, Iran's military says Tehran policy of reciprocal hit has ended and we carry out continuous strikes from now on. So that's the information. Donald Trump has now said the war will end soon because there are practically no targets left in Iran. Trump in an interview with Axios. So he said, when I want it to end, it will end, he said. So Donald Trump is saying that there are practically no targets left in Iran. And some minutes ago, I just showed everybody the number of capabilities that the Iranians still have in their underground missile city. Man, according to Donald Trump, he said practically no missile. He said practically nothing left to target in Iran because they have destroyed a lot of civilian lives and all of that. So this is where we end this video, because for everything in life we need to take a lesson away from it. What I would say is that I think it's high time we vehemently warn those Nigerians that said that they need help from the US. Please, we beg you in the name of God. Even though you don't value your own life, we have parents, we have families, we have sisters, we have brothers, we have a lot of people that are connected to us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we don't want a genocidal coalition of retarded individual to come and drop bombs on our families. Regardless, I don't know what to say, right? I am not 300 million Nigerian civilians, right? But those bombs would definitely not negotiate civilians and terrorists. We saw the last airstrike that Donald Trump carried out. Even if we have some shameless Nigerian soldiers saying that Donald Trump carried out a great operation, his military carried out a great operation. How do you argue that they carry out a great operation? Missiles were dropping in people's farmland. Missile dropped in communities. Missile broke. There was a particular guy. The missile pierced this roof, broke the wall. He was sleeping, right? The guy jumped outside and they found the missile on the floor. Why the missile did not detonate, I don't know. But God saved a lot of people. So inviting these guys to Nigeria for whatever reason is absolutely brainless. Please, whatever the case may be, I think it's our responsibility to do our best to put our politicians in check. The United States has nothing to offer anybody. And in terms of military strength, we are seeing right now that have daylight saving time when you turn your clocks. Yeah, probably is a open vacancy. Yes. So after Donald Trump had a failed campaign in Nigeria, there were some Nigerians that said that they need more strikes to come in. So please, you can see the war in Iran. Maybe you will be so fortunate, and some of those tomahawks, when they fly, maybe it will land behind your backyard. And probably it will be a carpet bombing. Then that's when you will realize it will be too late for you to realize that you called the wrong guys to come and protect or save you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I really, really appreciate the fact that the world has taken a stance that they will not support imposed aggression, that they will not support the Epstein coalition. A lot of people thought that this platform is a platform that hide under the canopy behind the curtains of journalism and all of that, and tell lies, and support genocide and support destruction of schoolgirls. And there was a video I shared yesterday, no, the day my channel was almost banned. I shared a video where a baby was removed out of the rubbles of a building that the United States just bombed, right? A baby, like that baby should be days old, removed from inside the rubbles. Okay. So yeah, Nigeria is GMT. So you know in my opinion, I think we should be very, very happy that we are seeing the activities and we are seeing the capabilities of the US right now. So for those that are asking for the help of the United States, we are warning you at this point. Wait, this is not the time for us to now hide and talk about freedom of speech. If we catch you saying that you want the US to come back into Nigeria to launch some operation or whatever after seeing what is going on in the Middle East. This is a warning. We are not begging you now, because you calling on the US is now you are this is a very, very dangerous security situation. Calling on the US to come into Nigeria to come and launch whatever type of yeah, I'm gonna get some rest after this. Calling on the US to come to Nigeria to come and launch some whatever bombing campaign is a national security threat. So whoever you are in Nigeria that you are calling on the US for whatever reason, we are warning you. It will not be funny. The world have seen what has happened in Iran. We don't want that in Nigeria here. We don't want old grandparents. We don't want our mothers. We don't want our fathers to be bombed. Don't do that. Don't you ever dare ever invite the US to come and launch any type of military campaign in Nigeria again. Yeah, what we are seeing in Iran right now is enough evidence. You don't need more. You don't need any more arguments. No more fighting. No more fighting. You know, even before US fires the first shot, we are calling for ceasefire in Nigeria. It's time for those 100 boots that they or 300 guys they have on the ground. It's time for them to pack their bags and go back home. We don't need them in Nigeria. We don't need them in the alliance of Sahel states. So I want the people in the alliance of Sahel state to now see the US continue to come and see. They send Rudy Atala, they send Johan, they've sent Nick Shecker, they've sent a lot of envoy to the alliance of Sahel states. They said they wanted to partner, to have bilateral collaboration with the alliance of Sahel state military when it comes to intelligence sharing and security partnership. So this is a security when they tell you that they want to have security agreement with you, that's a security agreement. Probably throw the bomb and to where the grandparents and everybody lives, and that is the best way to recognize the signing and the ID of the Epstein coalition, aka coalition of the retired. So, ladies and gentlemen, is at this point I want to wish you all the best, the very best of the rest of the day. I really appreciate everyone for coming, and I want to say thank you to all of you, because without you all, there is no Android community. This community has been censored for a long time, but Aluta Continua Victoria Santa, we are going to continue to stay strong. We are talking about what is going on in the Middle East right now, but don't forget, we are from Africa, and we love the motherland so much. And this is like we are traveling. We are going to return back home, and home means Africa. So right now, very, very soon, we are very close to returning back to the Alliance of Sahel. We're not going to wait for the war to end before we return home. For a while, I'm so sorry. A lot of people said it's been a while we talked about the Alliance of Sahel. We're about to return home. So pardon me um, for the delay. So by tomorrow, we'll start stepping a little bit. So thank you, and God bless you. Sleep well and stay safe and remain dangerous, because your life depends on it.